Go back to our main story now. Nations around the world are marking the 80th anniversary of VJ Day, Japan's surrender at the end of the Second World War.
In a personal message, King Charles has paid tribute to those who fought and died in the Pacific and Far East, saying they shall never be forgotten.
For the millions of families gathered around their wireless sets, and for their loved ones still serving far from home, it was the message a battle-weary world had long prayed for. The war is over, declared my grandfather, King George VI.
Japan has surrendered.
In his address to the nation and Commonwealth on VJ Day 80 years ago today, 4 short words after 6 long years of bloodshed, fear, and suffering. Seldom can a simple message have resonated with such a potent mix of relief, celebration, and sorrow for those who never lived to see the glow of freedom's new dawn. On this day of profound remembrance, I speak to you in that same spirit of commemoration and celebration as we honor anew all those whose service and sacrifice saw the forces of liberty prevail. While that final victory in the Pacific was achieved under the strategic command of our steadfast American allies, the war in Southeast Asia had reached its climax under the leadership of my great-uncle, Lord Mountbatten, from whom I learned so much about the particular horrors and heroism witnessed in those furthest fields of combat. The forces aligned under him comprised over 1 million men and women, drawn from many different countries, religions, and communities, but united by a common purpose and indomitable spirit. 29 Victoria Crosses bear eloquent testimony to their valor, but I know full well of the toll it took on so many, measured not only in gravestones, but in the mental and physical scars of those who survived. Despite the unyielding support of their devoted battlefield commander, General William Slim, the forces on the ground sometimes considered themselves the forgotten army. But as patron of the now Burma Star Memorial Fund, and having attended one of the great Burma Star reunions at the Albert Hall with Lord Mountbatten, when the hall was filled with thousands of bemedalled veterans, it has been my privilege to reassure the remaining veterans that they and their fallen comrades shall never be forgotten. Nor are they alone in our thoughts today, for high above those monsoon-lashed jungles, Allied pilots displayed their own fearless bravery, flying fighters, bombers, and transport aircraft into enemy fire and nature's fury. We recall, too, the prisoners of war who endured years of brutal captivity, the starvation, disease, and cruelty that tested the very limits of human endurance. Innocent civilian populations of occupied territories faced grievous hardships too. Their experience reminds us that war's true cost extends beyond battlefields, touching every aspect of life, a tragedy all too vividly demonstrated by conflicts around the world today. On this landmark anniversary, we should also pause to acknowledge that in the war's final act, an immense price was paid by the citizens of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, a price we pray no nation need ever pay again. But in recalling so much suffering, we must not lose sight of how great was the cause and how sweet the victory. For those heroes of VJ Day gave us more than freedom. They left us the example of how it can and must be protected. Countries and communities that had never before fought together learned to coordinate their efforts across vast distances, faiths, and cultural divides. Together they proved that in times of war and in times of peace, the greatest weapons of all are not the arms you bear, but the arms you link. That remains a vital lesson for our times. So, to the families of all those who served, and to that sadly dwindling band of veterans among us still, please know that the courage and camaraderie displayed in humanity's darkest hour is a flame that shall blaze for eternity, a beacon that honors our past and guides our future. Let us therefore pledge to be vigilant guardians of the values they bequeathed to us. And let us, above all, remember the epitaph in the Commonwealth War Graves Cemetery on the battlefield of Kohima. When you go home, tell them of us and say, for your tomorrow we gave our today.